up, everybody, and welcome to Coffee and Cannabis. This is my show where I talk about whatever I want to. And today I want to tell you a little story about what happened to me yesterday. Yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, and my plan was to take my camera down to Lower Greenville, Dallas, Texas, and interview people on the street, you know, celebrating the holiday. Well, it rained like a mother effer yesterday. It poured. So I left my camera at home. I thought, well, you know, I'll just take my cell phone and I could probably get some footage. Well, due to the rain and the craziness, that didn't really work out either. But I did have a really good conversation with a girl that I met. Now, I cannot remember the girl's name, but I do remember that she was from Charlotte. So, I'll call her Charlotte. Well, Charlotte actually came up to me and my buddy who were just hanging out, drinking a beer. And, you know, she started talking. She was drunk. Okay, let me just put that out there. She was pretty drunk. And, you know, she was friendly though. We started talking. And, you know, where are you from? You know, how long you guys been in Dallas? I'm not from here. Blah, blah, blah. Well, anyways, at one point the conversation turned to those people over there should just mind their own business and leave other people alone. And I said, hey, that's pretty much voluntarism. And so, like, I could tell, like, her attention perked up at this point. She was a little curious what that was. You know, I could tell she didn't know. She'd never heard of voluntarism before. But she knew that what I was talking about was real similar to libertarianism. So she said, so she jumps up right away. She says, "What?" She says, "No, wait a second. What's the difference between libertarianism and voluntarism?" And I told her, well, a voluntarist is considered to be a libertarian. However, libertarians are not necessarily considered to be a voluntarist. Well, why is that? The reason is libertarians often still believe that we need a small government, at least a little bit of a government to do certain things, right? They've not quite let go of that need for government. And a voluntarist does not believe in government, does not vote, does not support any sort of force or coercion to control people. It's when I was telling her about voluntarism, she was agreeing with everything up until the point when I said no government. Well, she turned into crazy debate woman at this point. Remember, she's drunk. She's really drunk. Not quite fall over drunk, but drunk enough to act a little crazy in front of strangers drunk. Well, so we start talking. My other friend, he's just kind of watching the two of us because it was kind of entertaining, I imagine, because it was a very heated debate. And now, mind you, we're like on the patio, a covered patio of a bar, and it's in a downpour, right? And all these people are packed into this patio to try to escape the rain, right? And everybody's drinking, everybody's drunk. It's St. Patty's Day, right? So here, me and Charlotte are having this conversation. And her friends are obviously like kind of ducking their heads down. My friend's kind of ducking down, you know. Words are flying. And And it was all pretty friendly, right? It wasn't like one of these normal debates that you would have with your typical statist, where they just name call, like change the subject when you try to ask them questions, that kind of thing. She was extremely adamant, and what really got her excited was when the conversation turned toward national defense, defending the borders. And she was extremely passionate about this. And she was to the point where she was almost ready to fight. She was getting in my face, right? And she was cute too, so it was hard for me to not like. So anyways, she was extremely heated, and she was just short of yelling at me that there was nothing I could do to convince her that there was not going to be a need to defend the borders from invasion from somebody from the outside, either government or gangs or whatever. So I started explaining, well, there's 100 million plus gun owners in the country, and I don't think they're going to take too well to an invasion. And she said, well, no, that's unrealistic. We've got to be able to take the fight to the enemy. She started spouting off some neocon warmongering stuff, which is really weird for a self-described libertarian. So I changed the subject up a little bit. I bring it back to self-defense, right? And I tell her, well, I have absolutely every belief in the legitimacy of self-defense. We own ourselves, and it's wrong for someone else to try to take our lives away from us. Well, this obviously she agreed with, right? High five. But then when I asked her, well, okay, let's throw out this scenario. What happens when this government comes and tries to take our guns? Well, obviously this also got her really riled up. They'll never take my fucking guns. I will shoot those motherfuckers. That's pretty much how she said it, right? And so I laughed. I'm like, all right, cool. We're on the same page there. And at this point, it was one of those situations where her friends were done with this place. They were ready to go to the next bar. They were out of here. So they're like, hey Charlotte, we're leaving. Come on, let's go. And so at this point, I'm like, I would really love to continue this conversation. Let me get your Facebook. Let me get your email or something. She's like, she's like, I don't do social media because she said because she was afraid of the government. So anyways, I'm kind of walking out with her and kind of not, hey, let me get my phone, let me get your phone number or whatever. But her friends were leaving, they were gone, so she was hauling ass after him. So the conversation pretty much ended right there, and we didn't get to exchange information, so we didn't get to continue this conversation. But she was so close. She's so close to turning from statist light to non-state at all. She had a contradiction in her beliefs, and I didn't get the chance to really point this out to her. Another 5 minutes and we would have been able to hash this out. But the contradiction is she had full beliefs that our government would never be able to come and take the guns away from the citizens of this country. The citizens would fight back to the death to defend their right to be able to defend themselves with a firearm. And she's completely right in that. But where she's wrong is that any other government, any other gang in the world is going to have the same problem. She was obviously afraid and well aware of of what our government has been doing to the people. But she was really having a hard time letting go of those last little bits of statism, those last little guarantees. She still needs those guarantees that the government is here to protect the people. Well, I really didn't get a chance to explain this to her. I'm hoping she gets a chance to see this video. She will know exactly who this is. There's only one person who was in Charlotte, from Charlotte, North Carolina, who was in Dallas, Texas, in a soggy rainstorm, talking about the differences between minarchy and anarchy. So, if she sees this, she'll know who she is. I hope she comments in the section and we can get in touch and continue this conversation. I really wanted to tell her, and in hindsight, I'm kicking myself for this, but I really wanted to tell her 6 months as she was leaving. 6 months is what it takes for a self-described libertarian who really truly believes in liberty. The average time is 6 months from them to turn from a libertarian into an anarchist, a voluntarist. So it was an awesome conversation. I often don't get a debate with almost anarchists very often, and it was definitely a learning experience for me. She kind of had me on my heels with her emotion towards national defense, and I need some practice, obviously. Being the fact that she was an attractive woman who was passionate about liberty was definitely distracting to my normal debate routine. The rest of the night was fairly uneventful. I had some other good conversations, but none of them were nearly as animated as that one. But I definitely reaffirmed a belief, and that is that I don't like getting drunk on St. Patty's Day. Now, a lot of people will be thinking, don't be a party pooper, it's one day of the year, get drunk, whatever. But I just don't like how I feel the day after, I like my body to feel good. I like to wake up in the morning and feel awesome, That's why I smoke weed. It makes you feel awesome. And it doesn't have hangovers. It does dehydrate you a little bit. Drink your water. So, I hope that maybe you learned a little bit today about the differences between a minarchist version of a libertarian society and an anarchist version of a libertarian society. We didn't even get an opportunity to touch on a bunch of the free market ideas that would help us protect the piece of dirt that we call a country. So, if you got any questions about this story or any other topics discussed in it, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. You know where that's at down below. If you liked what you're hearing here and you hope that I do some more of these silly videos, you can help me out by sharing this video, liking it, commenting down below, and of course, nothing helps me more than donations. That helps keep me pay the bills. You can send me donations directly at, that's right, Bitcoin, baby. I do appreciate all of those who can help contribute to this project, and I look forward to making more of these videos in the future.